The other board members are Mike Martin and Scott Calhoun. One thing I have to do is go through the COVID-19. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, masks are required and social distancing will be practiced. If an individual has concerns about attending the hearing in person, the hearing will be televised live online at millcreektownship.com/meetings. Only individuals who made prior arrangements are permitted to participate by telephone. First, I'd like to introduce the following people. We have Matthew Puzz, the Zoning and Development Officer, Julie Maggio, the Assistant Zoning and Development Officer, Rich Perhax, the Board Solicitor, Cecilia Mahana, the Court Reporter. After the presentation by the appellant, the Board will hear from all interested parties in the appeal, whether in favor or in opposition to the appeal. After all presentations are made, the Board will recess. We'll then reconvene and make our decisions. The Board has up to 45 days to render a decision, but most are made this evening. You may call the zoning office in the morning after 8:30 if you choose to leave before the decision is made on your appeal, or you can stay and listen. I would like to now ask that everyone please stand to be sworn in.
Anybody who's going to say anything, even if you think you might. You don't have to. It's not required.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please answer, I do.
I do.
Okay, please be seated. So we only have one appeal on the agenda for tonight. It's appeal number 21-7, Michelle Toth for property located at 5473 Granite Lane, asking for a dimensional variance to construct an addition within the rear yard setback for our rural residential district. When you please approach the podium to speak, whoever's going to speak on your behalf, and please state your name and address.
Yep, over there.
Sorry,
It's okay.
very clearly a podium. Michelle Toth, 5473 Granite Lane.
Please tell us a little bit about your project.
I have an existing deck that was built prior to there being codes, apparently. It sets 16 feet back from my house. I want to build an addition on the deck, making it wider. But obviously I want the new addition to obviously be 16 feet back. Right now it's only allowed to be 11 without the 5-foot variance. I then plan to roof the entire thing.
Okay. So you're looking for a 5-foot variance. You want to be 35 feet off the line. It's currently, the code is 40.
Yes, I'm not going any further back than the existing one.
Okay. So Matt, being that this is 5 feet, was this development done in a time predating, or was the first one did not meet zoning code?
Since this is one of the uncovered decks, I'm assuming it was constructed prior to when we required permits for uncovered decks.
Okay.
So this appears to have been lawful. The existing deck appears to be lawful,
Correct.
but the code's changed. And now if you're putting a cover, it's too close.
Correct.
Gotcha. Do you know when the existing deck was built, ma'am?
I don't. The house was built in 2000. I don't know
So
if they built the deck
okay.
at the same time or not.
Not necessarily important. Thank you.
Matt, what year did the zoning change?
But I believe the building code, or I'm sorry, the zoning changed in, not the zoning ordinance changed in 2004. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Julie.
Correct. July 2004 is when we required permits for decks, because that's when the building code went into effect.
And Matt, it appears the back property line is parallel with the back of the house, so it's essentially extending the current 35-foot setback.
Correct.
Okay. You have any questions?
How high is your peak going to be?
You know, that's a great question. I don't truthfully know the answer to that. No higher than the existing roof.
But your deck right now does not have a roof, does it?
Correct.
So,
I mean the existing roof on the home, obviously. It's going to be built into the roof on the house.
Matt, how high can it be?
The maximum height for an addition in the RR district's 35 feet.
Okay. So max 35 feet. I did not know there was a limit on the height. We didn't talk
you know.
about that, and I guess I didn't realize it,
Okay.
so
Now you know.
I'm happy with that. I'm gonna write that down, though, if you're okay with that.
You're not-
Just so I-
You're not gonna forget it, it's all right.
35 feet, okay, which I feel like is pretty high.
That's very high.
Okay, so less than 35 feet.
Have you talked to a contractor yet about this?
I have.
And they didn't disclose any of the plans or anything?
I mean, we talked about all of this. They saw the paperwork that I submitted to you guys. I guess no, they did not disclose how high it was going to be. I mean, maybe they left that up to me, but I just want a peaked roof on the deck.
Okay.
But I'm happy to do, I mean, you know, height-wise, whatever the requirements are. I didn't actually know there were requirements for the height. I didn't even think of it, I guess.
Have you spoken to all your neighbors about this?
I have, with the exception of one gentleman who had a stroke recently, who's pretty elderly. I did not speak to him. I don't think he's well, but I spoke to everyone else.
There was no issues, no problems.
No problems. And actually, the gentleman who has had the stroke has the exact same porch that I would like to build. He has almost like, because all the homes are almost identical in this neighborhood.
Is he your next door neighbor?
Yes. But the homes are set in a way that they can't see. I can't see their deck, they can't see my deck.
Anything else? I don't know if anybody in the audience has
Sure.
anything.
Does anyone in the audience like to speak on this?
Are you here for anything special with this case or anything else?
No, I'm here just to speak to the board. I called William today, and they told me I was able to come and speak to them
About what?
about a question that I have about wanting to put a porch on my home.
Who told you to come here with that?
I called yesterday, and nobody answered, and this morning I came to the township receptionist desk. She called the zoning department, and whoever she spoke with said I could come tonight and speak to the board.
Well, the reason why we're all looking so puzzled, Kathy, is that we don't give out advice. We rule on appeals. So you have to apply for something, get turned down for a permit, as this woman was, and then she takes an appeal to the board, and we have the ability to grant the permit after hearing the appeal. We don't just give general advice to people on their projects. The place to start with whatever it is you want to do would be to go to the zoning office, sit down with one of these two individuals.
I've done all that. This has happened. I have sat with Julie.
Okay,
Been here twice, and I want to give you a brief chronology of what
we
has occurred.
we can't help you without an appeal before us. Has she been turned down for a permit?
We've spoken before, they do have setback issues along the front property line, and her builder did submit a permit, and it was denied. I spoke to your builder, and I know your builder has spoken to you.
Well, I guess, I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, why don't we just,
Why don't we
let's
wrap
get the
this
case
one?
finished,
Okay.
and then we'll
I'm
explain
okay.
this to you.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so neither of you have anything to discuss on this case?
Okay, you can sit down.
Me,
Okay.
Yeah, you're done.
Yep,
You're done. Now, that's all we had on our agenda, right? I mean,
that's all we have on
I'm
our
so sorry
agenda.
you had to come for that, that's crazy.
Okay.
I thought it'd be packed.
can we go off the record, please? What's up with this? What's the status of it?
It was denied, it doesn't meet the front yard requirement,
Okay,
and
there was no appeal taken.
there was no appeal.
Wait, can I speak?
Yeah, we're just having a conversation.
I would like to, can I briefly read this to you?
We can't
No.
hear it.
I understand, I guess what I.
Let me just interject one thing, and I'm sorry for Bob, but
You're good.
the process is you go to the zoning office. Now, let me finish this, please. The zoning office either accepts and issues a permit, or they deny. So the question is, was there a denial?
Yes,
Did you then file an appeal against their denial? And it's got to be an official document.
That's how we get cases. When
I
they,
was never given, I was not given that opportunity.
Okay.
when they
So-
turn you down, then you have to take an appeal here. And
So
then
what-
we can hear it.
So what I'd like to ask you to do is tomorrow morning, reach out both to Julie or Matt or somebody in the zoning office, file the appeal, and it's a piece of paperwork saying, hey, this building permit was turned down, and you tell us, you fill out the appeal to them that's presented to us to review, and then we can hear your case. But we really don't want to hear anything from you now, because we can't give any advice.
See, we're not allowed to hear a case until there's a hearing advertised, your neighbors are notified, everybody has the opportunity to come here. So we can't hear anything. We're not allowed to hear anything.
Why would nobody have told me that?
Well, I don't know, I don't,
I've been doing this since November.
well, I would expect you were told that, but I don't know that for sure.
No, nobody told me.
When was the denial, Julie? When was it?
they
When?
just submitted the permit last week.
Oh, last week. Oh,
Friday.
But I
All right.
was here today, and I was told I could speak.
well, whoever,
I wanted to see somebody from zoning, and the girl that said that the vet
Whoever-
said to me, no one will come down and talk to you.
Okay, here's what I'd really suggest you do.
that doesn't
Set
sound.
up some time to meet with Matt or Julie tomorrow, so you can do that yet tonight. And then, if you want to take it one step further, after you meet with Julie or Matt, I'd go to the supervisors and say, why'd this happen? But the only way we can hear what you want us to consider is having the official legal appeal filed.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get turned down,
Discussed by the supervisor.
you get turned down, then you take an appeal, and then we can hear everything you have to say, after it's all properly advertised and noticed out. It's exactly how it works, and it would be probably at next month's meeting, I assume, if it's done pretty quickly, right? We're still in time. So it would be heard in April. And then you can say everything that it is that you want to say. But that's the procedure. We can't take evidence unless the hearing has been properly noticed and advertised and people have been notified. So we can't even hear anything. We're not allowed to. Okay? I mean, that's the rules. We can't change those.
I would not have come had I known.
No, I believe that. I believe, had you understood it properly, I believe that that's correct. You probably wouldn't have. Nobody's mad at you. But,
If you wanna give us a call tomorrow, we can set up a time, I know we have a meeting in the morning, but we can set up a time
she'll see you tomorrow.
with our director and meet with you, but, yeah, I don't know when
And
you called, they probably thought you wanted to speak at this meeting tonight, is what they
Can I
thought.
set up a meeting with you now?
Yeah, well, could we finish this meeting? It'll
Yeah,
take about
we have a
5
hearing
minutes
to
to finish
conclude.
this.
Then you
They'll
can
still
talk.
be here.
You
And
can
then
make
we
your
can meet with
plans
them.
right now if you want to. Okay, but we're done. Are we gonna recess or do you wanna do it up here? This one looks pretty simple.
We're gonna turn around.
Okay, back.
Okay, on the appeal number 21-7, do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve 21-7.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion granted.
I'll make a
Appeal
motion to
granted.
adjourn.
Adjourned.
Okay, now everybody can talk.